Hello everyone. Welcome to Happy Science Meditation Seminar. I'm Bobby Mai, Minister of Happy Science. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I'd like to explore the theme, what we need to do to stop being unhappy. Regarding this book, The Laws of Happiness, Chapter 1. First of all, let us recite Prayer to the Lord together. Prayer to the Lord. Our Lord, Alcantara, you are the source of all light, all power, all wisdom, and all love. May you give us light, give us power, give us wisdom, and give us love. O Lord, our Father, please protect this plant-loved earth. Protect us from all evil, and open a future for us. O Lord, thank you for giving us light. We give thanks from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you again for joining us today. I would like to explore the theme, what we need to do to stop being unhappy. When do people feeling of unhappiness grow? Of course, these feelings of misery and what people feel unhappy about will change according to a person's age, their position in the passing of time, and their standing in society. For this reason, it is impossible simply to say, I will certainly be unhappy if the situation becomes such and such, or I guarantee I will be happy under these conditions. For instance, you cannot state categorically that if you had $1 million, you will be happy, or that if you do not, you will be miserable. So, first, it is important to realize that happiness and unhappiness are not fixed states. As Master Okawa explains in Invincible Thinking and some of his other books, happiness and unhappiness are not determined by any particular circumstances. Everything depends on what you learn from the materials you are presented with or how you change the way in which you live. Master also says that life is like a workbook of problems to be solved. You need to know that the way of solving these problems differ from person to person, and each person is given challenges appropriate to them to tackle. Once they have grown up, many people gradually develop an inferiority complex about what they experience as misery or lack, which leads them to believe they are unhappy. They think, I am unhappy because I have this fault. I am unhappy because I have this worry. Or I am unhappy because I cannot overcome my sense of inferiority. Subjectively, these feelings seem reasonable. However, objectively, in many cases, they are not. The reason I say this is that people who are aware of their faults and weaknesses have the advantage of knowing easily what it is they must do next. Some aspects of yourself may cause you worry, but it is better to regard these as the seeds of your growth that will help you move forward. For example, if you are still suffering from an intellectual inferiority complex, when you reach the age of 60 or 70, you should be glad. Most people have resigned themselves to what they are long before that. If someone who has reached the age of 60 or 70 still has a complex and thinks, I must study more, I have to develop myself further, or indeed to think more, it means that person is exceptional. It means they are not satisfied with what they are, and that there is still room left for improvement. You should also be aware of the fact that as the intellect strengthens, willpower tends to diminish. You may believe it is good to be intellectual and know a lot, but if you have too much knowledge, you may find yourself becoming weak-willed. You may lack courage, become indecisive, and as a result, be unable to take positive action or come to any conclusions, or not to know how to proceed in many situations. Those who are intellectually inclined tend to be rather weak-willed, so they need to make a positive effort to strengthen their will. The opposite is also true. Strong-willed people often tend to be obstinate, unwilling to listen to the opinions of others, and determined to do things their own way. A strong will can be either a virtue or a vice. So it is necessary to strengthen the intellectual side of the character to compensate for the weaker side. Unless people do this, they cannot expect further growth. Although the aspects of the character that contribute to a person's success are generally thought to be strengths, it is often necessary to look to the other extreme to find the factors that will provide clues to continued success. It is important always to be aware that the seeds of tomorrow's success are often found at the opposite extreme to a person's strengths. We cannot deny that there is a lot of worry and pain in life. But the truth is that you should feel grateful for difficulties. It is necessary to learn their value. If you do not have any worries, it means you have no opportunity for further progress. Among the worries that bother you are doubtless of no solution, but you need to realize that these contain within them the possibility of infinite progress. There is no need to lament the fact that your life has been filled with failure because failure always contains within it the seeds of the next creation, the seeds of future growth. Transforming the way you see yourself, this growth and expansion represents the development of the soul. This change in which how you see yourself is, in fact, great success for the soul. To achieve this transformation, you are born into this world, take on a physical form, and live for some decades before growing old and dying. It is important to realize that transforming the way you see yourself is the essence of enlightenment. When people become aware of their faults and weaknesses, it is because they are about to undergo a transformation. It is very difficult to realize your own shortcomings unless you are on the verge of throwing off your old personality. People who are satisfied with themselves usually do not understand their weaknesses, or even if they are aware of them, they try to keep them hidden from view. They try and cover them up so others will not notice, hoping that their good points will make up for their shortcomings. When your faults and weaknesses become apparent to you, it is because you are on the verge of some personal growth. People who believe that they never make mistakes actually do so frequently. They are just not aware of it. As your perception becomes sharper, you will be able to realize your mistakes before you actually make them. And increasingly, you will have this kind of experience. Now, I would like to have a Master Oka's lecture titled How to Win Against Fate.
How to Win Against Fate. Speaking from my years of experience as a man of religion, if I were asked if such a thing as fate actually exists in people's lives, I would reply that it does. When I say this, however, I do not mean that people live according to a rigid script, because people's souls have certain individual tendencies. By looking at these, it is possible to anticipate the direction a life will take. It is in this context that I say fate does exist. By looking at the tendencies of a person's soul, it is possible to foretell, to a certain degree, where they will succeed and where they will fail. It is possible to foretell what is likely to happen to someone in 5, 10, or even 20 years or more. In this sense, there is such a thing as fate. However, it is also possible to overcome fate. If people try to slow off their present self and change themselves by studying themselves and other people, carefully analyzing their strengths and weaknesses, what fate has in store for them will be changed. If you think your life is cursed, or that your fate is so bad that you want to avoid it, there is only one way out. You need to gain a fine understanding of the tendencies of your soul. If you achieve this, you will be able to foresee your future and understand what you need to do to overcome it. Because you will know what is going to happen to you, you will be able to avoid it. It is important to avoid dangers and develop the abilities you lack. Nurture future strengths that lie in your shortcomings, and discover the seeds of failure lurking within your strengths. Then you will be able to achieve long-lasting success. It is true that fate does exist, but it is possible to improve it. There are also forms of destiny that are impossible to change. And when confronted with these, I can only recommend that you resign yourself to them. Half the misery in life is the result of inappropriate desire. Among the desires is the desire to grow. Without it, there would be no progress. However, half of their desires are inappropriate to their situation. So knowing your fate is the equivalent of understanding your natural gifts and limitations. It is difficult even for the devil to bring down people who understand the limits of their own abilities, personality, and physical strength. People who know their limits and their place in the world are very difficult to trap. Conversely, it is easy to bring down someone who does not understand their place in the world. The devil does not need to make any effort. All that is required is to lay a trap on their path. This is the case with people who simply believe they possess infinite ability. Essentially, human beings do have infinite potential. However, because they have certain tendencies of the soul, they face limitations. In order to overcome these limitations, you need to look at your strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of the people around you, always comparing yourself to others as you make a study of life. When confronted with something unchangeable, you should simply learn to control your desires. Inappropriate success could bring about your downfall. By knowing this, you will never experience major failures. Excessive desire is what is referred to as attachment, and only by getting rid of attachment, happiness can be achieved. It is safe to assume that about half of the desires people have are excessive. Earlier, I said that the majority of statesmen would be happier if they did not become president. If they did, it would bring them only unhappiness. The same can be said for everyone. In many cases, people are happier if they never achieve what they wish for. For instance, some women are unable to do housework very well, but find happiness achieving success in their career. There are people who find unhappiness in the fact that their children are not very bright. While on the other hand, there are couples whose children become so clever that they can no longer talk to them about the same subjects, resulting in unhappiness. So life is simultaneously unlimited yet limited.
How did you think about Master Oka's lecture? People often create the cause of their own limitation. But in fact, the limitation is created by the objective appraisal of others. Insurmountable limitations may be the result of worldly competition, but in actual fact, they arise as the result of the objective assessment of others. For this reason, if you feel that despite all your efforts, you are unable to get ahead, you need to look objectively at your situation one more time. Whenever you are unable to break through your own limitations, look for the reason. It is important always to think about what is needed to succeed. While you are thinking, you will discover the next step you need to take for your own further growth. Now, let us have self-reflection and contemplation time. if I were to think about the objectives of life, I would say that its first objective is a journey of self-discovery. The very fact that you have been born with a character that is unique should tell you that you must strive to discover your own self, that you should study your being and ask why you were born with the character you possess. You should ask and find the answer as to the kind of life that you have been given. Now, no one can avoid this journey of self-exploration and self-discovery. Please reflect on yourself and contemplate the purpose of your life, researching your strong points and weak points. What is your workbook of problems? How are you going to solve these? Now let us recite prayer to Guardian and Guiding Spirit. Prayer to Guardian and Guiding Spirits. My Guardian and Guiding Spirits, deep inside of me, you are the fountain of life, the light of hope, the source of wisdom, and the shield of courage. Every day may you help me develop my soul and refine my mind. Every day may you give me inspiration and show me the right path to follow. Please protect me from all evil and guide me in living a better life. For this I give my thanks. Now, please start the reflection and contemplation. Please begin. How was your reflection? Could you find the purpose of your life researching your strong and weak features? Now we'll practice meditation. Meditation for realization of hope. During this meditation, please visualize new you who can achieve the success. Please begin.
Let us now move on to the second meditation, meditation for the realization of goals. Meditate on what you want to accomplish in the coming year. Envision yourself realizing these goals. I'm sure that each of you has something that you want to accomplish more than anything else in the next year. I'd like you to visualize it very hard. Now, sit up straight, steady your breathing, and close your eyes gently. Think of what you want to accomplish the most this year and enter the meditation of the realization of goals. Tell your mind of your goals for this year and call to mind your deep conviction to accomplish and realize them. Begin. End your meditation. This meditation is very important because you focus on a concrete goal like the one for next year. During your meditation, you focus your will on the course that you want your life to take over the next year, or what you want to become like in 1 year. And it's important to make a habit of reflecting on whether you have accomplished the goal at the end of the year. Picture yourself a year from now, and focus strongly on what you want to happen. Then, reflect on how you do at the end of the year. Compare where you are to where you want to be, and you will grow and progress greatly. Without goals, there can be no progress. Without goals, there's no passion. Therefore, it's vital that you define your goals and ideals and focus on achieving them.
How was the meditation? New you can break through the limits and achieve the great success? In order to not be unhappy, please keep practicing self-reflection and meditation. The other objective of life concerns the way in which you interact with others. That is to say, learning what kind of role you can play in relationship to others and to society in general. It is learning about yourself through your interactions with others and recognizing the importance of living by having an influence on one another. In this case, please practice love that gives. These are the principles of happiness in Happy Science. Practicing this fourfold path is the best way not being unhappy. Of course, way to happiness. Let's keep learning Happy Science books, Laws of Happiness. And if you like, please give this book to the others. Well, you can tell how to become happy. Thank you very much for coming today. I'll see you next week again. See you then. Bye-bye.